No one ever tells you this, but life doesn't get easier with age. It just gets quieter, and not all quiet is peace. Sometimes it's the silence of feeling forgotten, the silence of long days that blend into one another, the silence of a heart that no longer feels excited, of conversations that fade until there's nothing left to say. You've lived long, you've raised families, you've worked, sacrificed, endured. You've bent yourself to meet the needs of others again and again. And somewhere along the way, you began making small decisions, quiet ones that slowly, quietly began taking life away from you. Not all at once, not with warning, but piece by piece. You don't notice these choices, not at first, until one day you do. It might be a birthday where no one calls, a doctor's visit that suddenly feels more serious than it should, or a quiet afternoon when a thought crosses your mind. Is this really how it ends? This video isn't here to blame you. It's here to gently wake you, to help you notice what still can be changed, because the mistakes that ruin our later years don't arrive loudly. They slip in through routine, through beliefs we never question, through the comfort of silence. And if we're not paying attention, we wake up one day having handed away joy, freedom, dignity, without even realizing it. But today that changes. Because today we're uncovering 9 fatal mistakes, the quiet ones that destroy life in old age, and how to stop them before they go any further. Let's make one thing clear. Growing older isn't the problem. Aging is a gift. It means you made it. You survived what others didn't. But aging without intention? That's something else entirely. That's when the days start drifting. That's when the spark dims. And most of us don't even notice it happening. This isn't a video to scare you. It's here to show you, gently, what might be holding you back. The things you can change. Even now. Because if you've ever felt bored, invisible, disconnected from joy, it's not because you're old. It's because somewhere along the way, you stop feeling like the author of your own life. But here's the good news. You can still pick up the pen. You can write the next chapter differently. You can reclaim what still belongs to you, not through grand gestures, but through small choices, through courage, through honesty. Today we begin. We'll walk through the 9 fatal mistakes that slowly, quietly take over the lives of too many people as they age. And more importantly, how to break free from them. By the end, I hope something stirs inside you, a flicker of truth, a bit of fire, because your life, it's still yours, and it's not too late to truly live it. Mistake 1, believing passion dies with age. One of the most dangerous lies we carry into old age is this: that passion has an expiration date, that once we hit a number, 60, 70, 80, we must pack away our dreams, our creativity, our fire. We start to believe it's time to settle. But that belief, it doesn't come from within. It's handed to us. People stop asking what excites us. They stop including us. Even those closest to us begin acting like our story is already finished. But they're wrong. Passion doesn't die with age. It fades from neglect. When we stop doing what lights us up, when we stop giving ourselves permission to feel excited, to feel curious, to feel alive, the flame doesn't die. It dims. And over time, we convince ourselves that maybe it was never there at all. Maybe you used to love music, painting, gardening. Maybe you once dreamed of writing a book, dancing, traveling the world. But somewhere along the way, you said, that version of me is gone. But what if they aren't? What if that version is still inside you, waiting? Because passion doesn't belong to the young. It belongs to the willing, to those brave enough to feel again, to try again, even to fail again. Not for approval, not for applause, but for the joy of it. I knew a man once who learned to play piano at 74. His hands were stiff, his notes were messy, but every morning he played. When I asked why, he smiled. Because for once, no one expects anything from me. I do it just for me. That's the gift of late life passion. It's finally free. It's not about performing. It's about presence. So if anything still stirs in you, a pull to paint, to sing, to grow, to write, follow that pull. Let the spark breathe. Because the moment you believe passion is gone, you start living like you are too. And you're not. Mistake 2, depending emotionally on your children. There's a quiet heartbreak many older adults carry, not from illness or finances, but from waiting for a call, a visit, a reminder that they still matter. And that waiting often revolves around the people they love most, their children. We pour so much into our kids. We protect, guide, sacrifice. So when they grow up, it's natural to want that closeness to remain. But here's the danger. When our emotional well-being depends entirely on them, on their attention, their time, their responses, we give them a power they never asked for at first. It hurts a little when they forget to call. Then plans get canceled. Birthdays pass quietly. Over time, that pain grows. We start measuring our value by their presence or absence. Here's the truth. Your children may love you deeply, but they cannot be your only source of joy. They have full lives, careers, families, struggles. And while your desire for connection is valid, your emotional life deserves more than one outlet. Because when you rely solely on them, disappointment becomes a cycle. Not because they don't love you, but because they cannot carry what was meant to be shared. So let me ask gently, when was the last time you did something just for you? Not out of duty, not to fill time, but because it made your heart feel full? When did you last reach out to a friend, a neighbor, a new group, just to connect? You are more than a mother, more than a father. You are still you, a whole person. And when you build joy from within, from friendships, hobbies, solitude, purpose, something beautiful happens. You stop resenting the people you love. You stop waiting to be remembered because you remember yourself. Missing your children is okay, but don't disappear while you wait for them. You still matter, and you always will. Mistake 3, neglecting the body because it's too late anyway. Somewhere along the path of aging, many people begin to believe a soft, dangerous lie. Taking care of my body doesn't matter anymore. They skip meals, stop walking, sleep poorly, ignore the aches. At first, it looks like acceptance, but really it's quiet surrender. Over time, getting out of bed becomes harder. Stairs feel impossible. Clothes don't fit right. And mirrors become something to avoid. This isn't about vanity. It's about dignity. Because the way you treat your body sends a message to your soul. And when the body is neglected long enough, the soul starts believing it doesn't matter either. But here's the truth. Your body doesn't need to be young. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be loved, cared for, moved, fed, not for performance, but for presence, so that you can live this day, this one right now, with strength, steadiness, and clarity. And no, it is not too late. I know people in their 80s who walk daily, who dance slowly in their kitchens, who stretch, lift light weights, or cook meals with care, not to live forever, but to live better. Because your body listens. Every stretch, every sip of water, every walk, it responds. And as it responds, so do you. You begin to remember, I'm still here. I'm still capable of pleasure, of strength, of life. And that remembering, it changes everything. So if you've given up, if you've whispered, it's too late for me, let this be your sign. It's not too late. It's just time to come home to yourself. You only get one body in this life. Don't treat it like a burden. Treat it like a gift, because it is. Mistake 4, hoarding money but starving life. There's wisdom in being careful with money, especially when you've worked hard for it. Saving is smart. Planning is responsible. But for many older adults, saving quietly turns into hoarding. Money becomes a shield, not a tool for living, but a fortress built from fear. You tell yourself, I need to save just in case. And slowly, fear begins to shape your life. You stop going out, stop treating yourself. You skip the small pleasures that once made you feel human. You might clip coupons of groceries, but deny yourself the simple joy of a warm cafe morning or a fresh flower by the bed. But here's the hard truth. Money that never touches your life isn't safety. It's just potential wasted. It's a life half-lived. Too many people pass with bank accounts full, but hearts full of regret. They never took that trip, never learned the dance, never shared the dinner table with laughter. Why? Because fear was louder than desire. This isn't about being reckless. It's about remembering what you earned money for in the first place, not just for emergencies, but for joy, for generosity, for comfort, for beauty, for peace. Ask yourself, are you guarding your money so tightly that life can't reach you? Because when you starve life to protect your savings, your spirit starts to shrink. The world gets smaller, and joy becomes a stranger. So use what you've earned. Let it touch your days. You work for this life. Now live it, not recklessly, but deeply, intentionally, and freely. Mistake 5. Thinking it's too late to start over. There's a quiet lie that sneaks in with age. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It's too late. You hear it when you dream of something new. You feel it when you're tempted to change course, but hesitate. We're told reinvention is for the young. That starting over is a game for 20-year-olds. But that's not true. Starting over has nothing to do with age, and everything to do with courage. Courage to say, maybe there's still more for me. Courage to say, this isn't how my story has to end. The truth? You can start over emotionally by letting go of pain, physically by making small steps toward health, socially by making a new friend, spiritually by returning to what once gave you peace. You don't need a grand gesture. You just need one small act of defiance against the belief that you're stuck. Like the woman I met who began volunteering at 78. She spent 2 years grieving and isolated. One morning, she just said, I can't live like this. And everything changed. That's what starting over looks like. Not forgetting your past, but honoring it by refusing to stay trapped in it. So if you've been telling yourself, it's too late, hear this. As long as you're breathing, you're becoming. And that means it's never, ever too late. Mistake 6. Living on autopilot and withdrawing from life. There comes a time when life starts to blur. You wake up, sit in the same chair, eat the same food, go to bed, and wonder where the day went. It feels safe, predictable, but inside, something quietly fades. Not because anything terrible happened, but because nothing new did. That's the danger of autopilot. Life stops feeling alive. And before you know it, you're not just withdrawn from the world. You're disconnected from yourself. Humans were never meant to go still. Even in later years, we crave purpose, movement, novelty. The mind and soul need stimulation, not busyness, but engagement. Read a new book, walk a new route, try a new recipe, call someone unexpected. These aren't dramatic changes, but they spark something real. You don't have to fill every hour, but don't let every hour pass you by. Withdrawal isn't rest, it's retreat, and life is still calling your name. Let me ask gently, when was the last time you did something unfamiliar, not to impress, but just to feel awake again? Because every time you stretch yourself, even slightly, you remind your brain, I'm still here, I'm still growing. You don't have to chase excitement, but don't settle for numbness. Choose life, one small action at a time. Mistake 7. Clinging to draining relationships. As we age, our social circles shift. Some friends fade, some pass. Families grow distant, absorbed in their own lives. In that quiet, we cling harder to whoever is left. Even when those relationships hurt, we hold on to people who drain us, who belittle us, who no longer see us. Why? Because the fear of being alone feels heavier than the burden of being mistreated. But here's a truth few dare say. Being with the wrong people is lonelier than being by yourself. You deserve warmth, not coldness. Respect, not resentment. Safety, not strain. Too many believe boundaries are selfish. That letting go is cruel. But protecting your peace is not cruelty. It's clarity. And clarity is how healing begins. A long history doesn't justify continued pain. Time served is not a permission slip to disrespect. You are allowed to say, this no longer works. I need space. I deserve better. Some relationships can shift, but only if both people are willing. If they're not, you still get to change. You still get to choose freedom over fear. You didn't come this far to be a vessel for someone else's anger. You came this far to finally be free. Enough is enough. Mistake 8. Abandoning your spiritual life. There's a kind of emptiness deeper than loneliness. It's the silence that comes when we lose touch with something greater, something sacred. Maybe you used to pray, meditate, sit in nature, feel the presence of something bigger than yourself. Maybe you used to ask the big questions, or simply feel peace in your soul. But life got heavy, faith got harder, time got tight, and that spiritual spark slowly dimmed. Without even meaning to, you stopped feeding your spirit. You tended your schedule, your body, your home, but not your soul. But your soul still needs tending, maybe now more than ever. You don't need religion or rituals. You don't need all the answers. You just need a space that feels like home inside yourself. Spiritual life is about connection, stillness, wonder, meaning. It's about asking quietly, what matters to me now? You can return to it through silence, prayer, journaling, nature, reflection, gratitude. And when you do, you don't become someone new. You remember who you've always been. So if your spirit's been quiet lately, this is your invitation. Come home, not with guilt, but with grace. Your soul never stopped waiting, and it's ready to rise again. Final thoughts. You've come a long way, more than most people will ever understand. You've carried burdens in silence, healed from wounds no one saw, and kept moving step by step through days that weren't always kind. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still becoming, still capable of shaping what the rest of your life will feel like. Maybe some of these truths in this video hit close to home. Maybe some are hard to hear. That's okay. This space wasn't created to judge you. It's here to wake something up inside you, to remind you that your life is not on pause, and it's definitely not over. You see, there is still time to feel joy again, time to reclaim your dignity, time to laugh, to weep, to dance, even if it's slowly, time to breathe in moments that matter. But here's the truth. No one is going to hand you those moments. Not your children, not society, not time. Only you. Only you can decide to stop merely surviving and to start living again. Not perfectly, not all at once, but honestly, bravely, because real change doesn't come in loud declarations. It starts in quiet ways. It begins the moment you whisper to yourself, I'm still here and I still matter. It begins when you make a single choice, however small, to engage with life again, to reach out, to try something new, to forgive yourself, to let go, to believe that your next chapter is still unwritten, and that it can feel lighter, softer, freer than the one before. So take one step today, one small act of courage, even if it's just lighting a candle, opening the window, calling someone you miss, or making a promise to start over tomorrow. And if something in this video touched you, even a single sentence, I'd love to know what it was. Your story, your comment, your voice. It might be exactly what someone else needed to hear. It might change someone else's direction, just like this message may have shifted yours. And if you know someone, a friend, a parent, even a neighbor, who needs this, please send it to them. Sometimes all it takes is one gentle reminder to soften a hardened heart, to bring someone back to life. And if you want more videos like this, gentle, honest, made with care, subscribe. We're building something here. A space where aging isn't seen as fading, but as deepening. Where the later years of life are honored, not ignored. And where your story, your presence is welcome. Always. You're not alone in this.